Hello, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Lens, where we interview some of the world's best photographers and videographers, and we get to see the people who make the magic happen behind the camera. So, my first guest today is the one, the only, Marcus Sotelo. Marcus, really happy that you're on the show. Got a chance to connect with you at RenderCon, and would love for you just to tell people a little bit about yourself and what do you do in the world of photography and videography?
Yeah, so I do video production. Where we met was at RenderCon. Since COVID, or a little bit after COVID, we started, as things were opening up, got into doing like large scale events. So we'll do big conferences and things along those lines. But really what we do a lot of as well is like commercial work. And we do some business profile stuff as well, I guess, quote unquote, company videos. We'll do company documentaries, things along those lines. We do some music video stuff here and there. We do some narrative stuff here and there as well, but a little bit of everything, to be honest. Yeah, yeah,
Awesome. So what was it that
yeah.
pulled you into the world of photography and videography?
Man, so really, I think what it was for me as like a kid, I watched a lot of action movies with my dad growing up. We love watching movies at night, but I think really what made me want to super do it was music videos. I grew up in the era of MTV and TRL and 106 and Park, and I was a big time music video fan. I watched the making of all the music videos, and I saw the behind the scenes of all what it took to make these big scale music videos, and got me really excited about cameras and film work and all of that. So that's what kind of brought me to editing and cameras, and then yeah, moving to LA. So yeah.
What was one of I know there's a lot of music videos. What music video stood out in your mind, or action movie? Because you're talking about the golden age of music
Man,
videos
yeah,
and action movies.
yeah. No, I mean that's so hard. I mean, all the action heroes for me really like Jackie Chan and obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, like Van Damme, like all those guys. Like, I mean, I could list 100. And same with music videos. I mean, again, as the golden era, as you said, I loved all the, I guess, Missy Elliott and Ludacris music videos.
The rhymes and
Busta Rhymes, of course, yeah, like the real in your face poppy like rap music videos I was a huge fan of, and then all the rock music videos too, like I don't know, Blink 182 and like Sum 41 and all that type of stuff. I'm
nice.
definitely a like millennial, I guess, but yeah, that's definitely what got me there for sure.
Oh, those are all the good ones, man. Well, it's a lot of inspiration. Same on this side. So,
Yeah.
what point did you go from like I want to do this to getting paid? What was it like, or do you remember actually your first paid gig?
I do, yeah. So my first paid gig was when I was still in film school. We all were still learning, and I was living in Hollywood at the time. There was this guy that had this program called the Mission Hollywood, and that was basically this host that would run around kind of like it's like a news anchor, really doing all the nightlife in downtown Los Angeles. So
Okay.
we'd go to all the like clubs, and he would talk to all the DJs and all the people there, and it was a really like run and gun live type of coverage, I guess, like kind of like a almost a TMZ, I guess, in a sense of like the nightlife in Hollywood. So yeah, I met this really cool guy, Chris Lamone, and he was my first paying client.
How was that for you working in that scene, being so close to, I guess, like celebrity when that was something that inspired you so much?
It was cool. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I am originally from California, but moved to Washington, to a rural town about 30 minutes south of Seattle. And I moved to Hollywood, which was like kind of a culture shock, I guess, for me a little bit. And it was like in all the best ways, I guess. I got to meet a lot of celebrities. We did, a lot of the clubs and stuff. I think like the first celebrity that I like filmed and shot was Farside, which was pretty cool for me. I really liked them a
Okay.
lot. We did New Year's Eve at the Roosevelt, I remember, and I thought that was a pretty Hollywood moment for me early on as like a 20-year-old kid. So it was cool. Yeah.
When you got into the industry, what was the biggest misconception that you got hit with right away?
Really, I think is like not understanding the industry of how it really works and functions, and I think it's an ever evolving thing. But at least for me, when I went into film school, my thought process was I'm going to get hired at a studio and work my rankings up, and then I'm going to be Steven Spielberg and directing the next whatever big movie. And not to say that isn't the route for some people and that doesn't work, but that wasn't the way it was for me. I didn't even really know about gig work, to be honest. I didn't know that was even a thing when I first got to LA. So that was definitely like a interesting, eye-opening experience for me. Probably in a good way, actually, though. I thought it was really cool. I mean, I think, I don't know, it's definitely not for everybody, but it gives you a lot of freedom for sure. If you have, enough work and you aren't stressed out, like you can work or not work, which I love personally. So it's cool.
That freedom?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, money's always good, but for me, freedom's better.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
you there.
yeah.
With that being said, what would you think currently online most people have when people see something online about photographers or photography or videography? What do you think is one of the misconceptions that people have when they see them?
Uh, I mean, I don't think people that have never done it don't really understand how much effort goes into like even the simplest shot. Like, for example, even this right here, like people might be like, nice camera, which, yeah, but like there's lights everywhere hidden, and there's,
Hmm.
specific color and all, there's a lot of detail that goes into like every like frame, and there's a lot of hard work and effort that goes into all of it, and so like I think for some photographers and videographers it can be frustrating feeling undervalued for how much effort and work you put in, but it's just educating. You just have to educate your clientele or find the clientele that respects what you do and understands.
Absolutely. You mentioned that there's a lot of effort that goes into creating everything. So, what is one of the things that you have given up personally in the pursuit of photography and videography in this career?
I mean, I don't know if I would say like completely gave up anything, but I mean, I definitely can say, time and money, that's it's taken a lot of learning, a lot of time to learn and continue. Like you never know enough. You're always learning. You have to be that way if you want to stay in this industry, in my opinion. And you have to be open to all new tools. If you agree with them or not, you just don't want to get left behind. So I will say that definitely takes a lot of time. And the same goes with money and equipment and tech and software. If you're not up to date, you're going to get left behind. You know, uh, I mean, you don't necessarily always need to buy the nicest, newest camera, but it helps a little bit. As long as you're like somewhat in the realm. You can't be shooting on VHS right now with 4K, 8K stuff, but you can still shoot pretty good stuff with your phone. It just depends. So
Yeah.
yeah, like time and money, I would say for sure.
Yeah. And what do you think, with all that you put into it, what is one thing that you have, gotten out that you feel that no other career could have really given you?
I think like what I touched on earlier, definitely freedom. I feel very fortunate. I have a pretty flexible schedule in the most sense. Like I stay busy because I truly love to do this, but like, if I want to take a week off, I can do that. If I have a special event or a vacation or a thing, I can do that, which is awesome. But one thing it really has given me, which has been like really cool, is like a lot of amazing experiences I wouldn't have had any other like career. I continue to travel all around the world to shoot, which is amazing. I meet really cool people. I get to like go behind the scenes of stuff I wouldn't because I have a camera. Yeah, I don't know. And really the coolest part about all of it is like I will always have those memories, but I also have like videos to like show for it too. Like I have those memories plus what I made from those trips, which is really cool. So,
So you have the
yeah.
authentic memory as well
Yeah.
as the actual. You actually have documentation. You have receipts.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool when you like watch a video and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It like sparks that memory of the trip and the whole like behind the scenes, and it's awesome. I love it, man.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm sure there was hard days too in the industry. I mean, anybody working, especially when it comes to freelance pickup gigs and things like that. Was there ever a moment that you were like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I just want to give it up. I'll go work at a bank or anything else.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. It's not for everybody. I actually like so I graduated film school around like 2008, 2009 during the recession, which was really tough, especially as a gig worker and being a young kid in the industry. So I was working nonstop as like a grip and electric, and then I was a second AC and first AC. And I was very busy, but I still was late on my bills. Like I wasn't getting paid enough. Like I was taking whatever I could. I was, really low rates, but I needed the experience. I needed to do what I had to do. And I got pretty burnt out and got a little behind on bills and stuff. So I actually got an opportunity to jump on a commercial fishing boat. And I took 7.5, 8 months off of the industry, and I jumped on a commercial fishing boat from Ventura, and I went from Ventura to northern Alaska and back,
Wow.
doing that for about a year, like 7 months or so. And so that was me needing to do something else for a bit, and that was crazy. That was for me my becoming of a man moment, I feel like, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and it gave me one, money, which I needed, which was great, but secondly, like a new perspective on hard work and if I wanted to do film or do something else. And I came back and I jumped right back in. I invested a lot of money that I had into my own thing and started my company. So that was kind of how it all began.
It's amazing. What season of Deadliest Catch was that? Because that's crazy.
Yeah, so I wasn't on the deadliest catch, but I did seining, which is like we fish for calamari, sardines, and salmon, and so we went in the summers. I definitely had it a little nicer than those guys.
Okay.
They're in the worst of it during the winter, and I had really beautiful summer Alaska, which was still very hard, very scary, hard work, but like yeah, I had it made compared to those guys.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what did you find that really helped you go through those hard times and say, you know what, I'm coming back into filmmaking? Was it no matter what, I'm going to do this? Or what did you find that helped you get through those hardest times?
So I had like I felt a little frustrated, I guess, like because I went to film school, and I think I don't know how it is for everybody, but for me, I had a dream of making my things, like I wanted to be the guy that created the stuff. And don't get me wrong, I mean, being on set is amazing, and I love it too. I still do it sometimes for my friends. I'll jump on as a grip or electric or AC or wherever they need me. And I think it was a very valuable time for me to learn how to do all that stuff. But yeah, I ultimately really wanted to make stuff. And while I was on my trip, I had my little 7D, little Canon 7D DSLR, and I was kind of documenting the whole trip. So I kind of made like a blog style vlog, I guess, and I was like journaling and documenting, and I would make little videos of like my trip up the coast to Alaska and back, and I was able to just kind of get weird and experimental and make these fun videos, and that really like inspired me, like why I went to film school and why I got into it. And so by the time I got back, I was like, maybe rather than jumping on some sets, I should, even if it's small and it's my little videos, it's gonna be like my thing, you know. So I moved from Hollywood, and then I moved down to Orange County, where I'm originally from, and I just kind of like locked in and stayed in my own lane with blinders and just did my like worked really hard and did my own thing. So
Nice. Let's
yeah.
change gears a little bit now that we have a good idea of like your backstory and your journey, which is amazing. I haven't met anyone in commercial fishing, so that's a whole nother. We could deep dive into that literally
Oh yeah,
another time.
for sure.
But when it comes to the client side and working with clients, there's a whole set of problems that comes with it. What do you think is one of the most frustrating things when you're dealing with clients that nobody really talks about?
You know, everyone has their own experiences with clients. I find it like, as I've been doing this longer, kind of an art form to work with different clients. I kind of sometimes feel like it's like psychology and people management skills a little bit, and like trying to figure out, you know, what they want and what makes them happy. But some of the frustrating things from the past that I've had is working with sometimes working with big companies that have a lot of people that make decisions, because sometimes it feels like there's not a direct path to the end. It feels like it's a forever bouncing project, and I'm talking specifically in post-production, I guess. It feels like a never-ending cycle of revisions. You know, even though, you know, if you charge more for revisions or whatever, you know, it's great, you're getting paid, but it feels like a project lasts forever, and sometimes you just want to move on to the next one. So that sometimes can be frustrating. And yeah, you know, also depending on, you know, the creative, sometimes you have a middleman, which happens everywhere in every job, but it's like you're making the video for the client, but you're working for maybe the agency or a specific creative director or something like that. Sometimes they don't align, and sometimes you do more work. You know, that sometimes can be a little frustrating, but you know, it's part of the deal, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely. With that, is there any time, because you mentioned that it's very artistic now, the way you work with clients, is there ever been a time that you feel that a client has really undervalued your work?
I mean, yeah, I think it's not really undervaluing. I think it's setting expectations for budgets sometimes. I won't, you know, ever name names, but it's just I've been in the situation where clients will see previous work of mine that is like full scale, full crew, every, you know, pretty decent, healthy budget, and they're trying to do that with not that budget, you know, and
Mm.
it's just setting those expectations. So I've had it come a couple times like, oh, well, you've done it like this. Why doesn't it look like this? And I mean, it's, you know, again, which I'm pretty sure I told them, but, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, well, it doesn't look like that work. And I'm like, well, okay, sorry. Sorry, I can't do all that, you know, without extra support. And that costs money sometimes. So,
Classic good, fast, or cheap, choose two. It's like
of course, yeah,
the,
exactly,
the, the, the
exactly.
problem that all clients have to deal with, the choices.
Yeah, yeah.
With that realm, what is it that you think, you know, causes photographers to struggle when it comes to charging what they're worth, or when it comes to billing and figuring that out? Why do you think that's you know, a big issue in the industry?
I can't talk for everyone, but for myself, at least, like early on when I was younger, and had less experience, I think it was like it sometimes is scary to ask for money, you know? Like it's scary to think like, oh, there's no way that they're going to pay me X amount and whatever that is. And, you know, what I've experienced is like, you know, just don't be scared of the no, you know, like don't be scared of them not hiring you, you know, because like really it's like sales, you know, like the more people you talk to, you might get, you know, 9 no's, but you're going to get the one yes, you know. And when you set your bar of your rates and what you believe you're valued at, and of course, you know, do your market research of what's around you and available too, but like you can set your own bar to whatever you want, like, and if you are able to cut out something that's really unique and hard to replicate, or you're just so much cooler or better or faster, or something special about you, like, you can do whatever you want. You can find a client, and if they think you're worth that, you are. So that's for me. I've kind of almost looked at it like almost like art. You value it whatever you set the price tag to, and as long as the buyer's buying, that's what it is.
That's nice. Don't fear the no. It's part of the process. It's part of the process. So in that space, 'cause I'm sure you go into a lot of negotiations, especially on different gigs and things like that. What do you do when someone says, "Can you do it cheaper?"
I generally say no. I say no, and I say I mean, look, if they asked if I can do it for cheaper, and like it's not my minimum that I do for my time, money, and effort, like I will like negotiate with them like, okay, well, I can give you, lesser something, like it's a shorter video, or it's not the full crew, or it's this or that. But I generally try not to do that, to be honest, because like I feel like it doesn't help me really, or help them in the end, I don't think, because they're hiring me for a reason for what I've done in the past, or whatever. And if they're trying to like change what I do, I can't give them what they called me for, So what I generally say is no, but I do have someone I can recommend you that's, up and coming guy that's great, and I always do, and I would rather pass on the job than just not do it right, I feel like.
That's some great advice, and I know some people are scared of that if they're scared of the business slipping through their fingers or something like that. The idea that they're coming to you for a certain quality, and I'm sure, I guess that goes with quality and budget, right? So if the budget drops below a certain quality threshold, then you're like, okay, we're out. We can't really do that quality, and that's what your expectation is. So I think that goes back to managing expectation, which is a big deal. Do you go through a process, and how do you help clients understand how much work happens after the shoot, and they're not just getting like log footage?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's more common now. When I was starting out, not a lot of people were doing from pre-production to post-production, but like I try and handle all of it so that like here's the final product and it's done. I just try and give them the polished best product in the end, and I don't normally give raw footage to clients.
What would you say for clients, if there was one thing that they should really understand about photography and videography before hiring a photographer? What would you say that they should understand?
Dang.
Yeah, every client will
I
now
don't
know
know.
this one thing.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I mean, I feel like I mean, I think going back to what I said earlier, it's, understanding like the time and effort, I guess. We're really not all the same, I guess, in a sense. Like there's so many talented people out there, but they're really good, and have their own flavor of how they do it. So I think like that's an important thing for clients, like to make sure you find someone, of course, that's good, that's professional, reliable, but make sure they have the look you're going for, or they at least can achieve what you're looking for. If it's cut and dry basic, sure, maybe that's fine, but everyone kind of does things a little different. So I think that'd be a good thing to keep an eye out for when you hire a photographer or videographer. We all have specialties in one way or another.
Absolutely. Let's switch over to more, I guess, the actual like business today of the world of photography and videography, and want to talk about social media, because that's everywhere. It's a core part of business, marketing, exposure, people being seen, celebrity culture too. All of that has changed. Now regular people become celebrities just because they're seen a lot. How do you think, the world of photography has changed, and do you think it's harder or easier to survive as a photographer now in this day and age?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I think when I first started, it felt like people were just getting the idea of like, oh, I need a video for my website, and that was like, maybe I need a video for my website. And now it's like, if you don't have content, not only on your website, on your every social media platform or photos or anything like that, you're going to get definitely left behind. So I would say, I don't know if it's easier because there's definitely more competition in terms of like clientele, but I think like there's more opportunity now to get stuff, I wouldn't say that that means it's easier, but I would say there's more clients looking for video and photo now than ever, So maybe easier, but you do have more competition too. So it
More
goes
of
both
everything.
ways.
Yeah. More
Yeah,
business,
yeah,
more competition.
yeah,
With that, there's something that was a huge problem in the world of post-production and VFX where I was, for years. And that is the idea of exposure, the classic exposure instead of payment.
yeah,
How
yeah.
dangerous and how do you feel about the exposure, word and that whole culture of, no, it's good for exposure.
Yeah, I I think like once you have your portfolio, when you have your portfolio, you're pretty good for the most part. But like I think in the sense like we're in such a fast moving world, especially with social media. I will say there is value sometimes in doing stuff that's maybe not like full paid or if it's exposure or whatever. There sometimes is value in that. I think like I will do spec jobs or, like non-paid stuff to learn to, sometimes the things that pay the most money aren't really the coolest. They're not the sexy jobs, they're more cut and dry. Maybe sometimes they're the ones you don't even want to share, but for your sense of like marketing yourself, I do think it is important to have cool things out there to show people like what you can do, and prove to yourself that you can push, your limits a bit of what you're capable of. So I would say don't take it if you don't need to, or be selective on what you take. I do it sometimes if it's kind of vain, but if it's a cool celebrity or if it's something I really wanted to do, like, hey, I wanted to make a Nike shoe commercial, or I wanted to, I've always wanted to do, a beer commercial. Like I've done these things because I've just I want to get better and I'm striving to like get those types of jobs. So you're not going to get hired for those jobs unless you're showing that you can do those jobs. So I guess exposure, maybe not so much, but do it for yourself, like go and shoot your own projects. I would recommend.
I think that's great advice. Like if it's personal to you and it's valuable to you, then it's more than just exposure for the client, but it's actually something that you're connected with, which is a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, the struggles of, especially for new photographers and getting started, like one of the stories you talked about was, having to go into, deep sea fishing. What was the longest time you went without, knowing when your next booking, your next gig was going to come in? And what was that like?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long. I think I've gone a few months without working, which definitely doesn't feel good. I think even beyond the money, it's kind of like more of a mental thing. You're like, oh man, am I not relevant or cool or good or whatever? I think everyone goes through a bit of the imposter syndrome sometimes, especially working in this industry. But yeah, that's part of kind of the freelance world, one thing I will say for me, it has gotten easier the longer I've been in it. Your network grows and grows and grows. And if you continue to do good work with clients, they tell people or they keep hiring you. So it's definitely gotten easier. But I've had my stints of 2-3 months without working before, and it sucks. You got to be ready for that though. You got to be good at saving and be good at like not knowing where your next paycheck's coming from.
Just comes with the territory.
Yeah, yeah.
So what would you say when it comes to that, when it comes to finding clients and actually doing work? How much time, just like a rough percentage, would you say that you spend looking for clients or chasing clients versus actually doing the work?
Again, like I said, it has gotten easier in a sense for me. I think like that for me, most of my marketing comes through social media, posting either work that I'm doing, working on, or what I've done in the past. And I spend a lot of time really like on LinkedIn and on sometimes I'll go on Instagram and I generally will look for work or clients or companies that align with what I do, and then I go and find the you know marketing director, creative director, or CMO of those companies, and I'll follow them and I'll just say hi, and just and say hey if you ever need anything. Like it's not always good to super cold call people and get really salesy, but if you can find a way to like befriend people and actually be cool and be their friend, like generally your life gets easier. So like I would say make friends with people where you want to be working. So that's kind of the time that I spend. It's more like rather than marketing, it's more relationship building, I guess. So yeah.
So, question for you in the world of growth and business, do you think now, compared to when you were getting started, is it harder to become talented or becoming more discoverable?
Well, that's a tough question. I think talented to me because that takes time, like learning and growth, a lot of repetition, I think, to become talented in things. I don't think that happens overnight. You can, in some cases, go viral and be discovered overnight. It's not really that easy for everyone, and that is definitely hard too. But if you put enough effort into pushing yourself out there, talking to people, you could do it easier in my opinion. But you have to be talented too, I think, to like have people care.
Yeah, to make you more discoverable. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been in the industry for a little while now. What is one hidden business skill you would say photographers need, but they're not taught? You've been in business for a while. What's one business skill that you think photographers really need, but it's not really taught?
Yeah, I don't know. I think all of it, honestly.
All of business.
Yeah, all of the above. Because I mean, I went to film school and I got out, and I don't have a business degree, but I have now a LLC and a business that I'm hired by some pretty large businesses, and it sometimes is intimidating. But I mean, I think contracts are definitely key, important. Find some good contracts. I think invoicing obviously is very important. I mean, even your taxes, your tax write-offs. I mean, all of it. It's really like an untaught thing. I feel like for most people, I'm kind of self-taught in a sense where like I've messed up a lot of things, and I've just grown from doing it the wrong way. There's a lot more resources to learn easier online and a lot of places to like really figure it out. There's really great YouTube channels of people that give good advice, or you can buy courses or whatever. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the more business I think it's going to like really make your career a lot smoother.
Love that. Yeah, totally agree. We are just not taught any business. I mean, I have a degree in economics, and then just understanding corporate credit, LLC formation, all the legalities of things. It was like I came out with, I think, like 1.5% of really knowing what you need when it comes to business. With that being said, when it comes to like the industry and what people have a lot of misconceptions, what do you think or one of the biggest lies creatives are told about the industry today,
One of the lies. I don't know.
or they're being sold to? Is it if like
I'm not sure. Yeah,
yeah,
I guess, same with me. I thought it would be easier.
okay,
I think that like there's a misconception of how much like effort it really takes. Like even for any part of the industry, if you're going to make movies, or if you're making a YouTube channel or a podcast, or if you're just an influencer, like it takes a lot of time and repetition and really putting yourself out there a lot. You can't be shy. You can't really be scared to fail. You got to just keep throwing things at the wall, and eventually, you hope it works. So,
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good advice. When it comes to the creator economy, we're now in this, quote unquote creator economy for artists and things like that. Do you think it's helping more artists or exploiting them, or more exploitative as far as the creator economy?
I think it's great, honestly. I mean, it's really changing. It's kind of changing how things are done. But I there's two sides of it. I think it's kind of a bummer sometimes for the art of how things are made. Sometimes it feels like everything is getting very commercialized. Everyone's turning into a billboard. It feels like a bit. Everyone's trying to sell you something, which kind of sucks. But also, there's a lot of heart to it, and I think it's kind of cool. Just, you know, people picking up cameras and or even their phones, and they're just making things. Like I love the fact like the bar to entry has lowered a sense, like in a sense where people can just make things, and do it in their way and have the freedom to do that. Like it's really cool. Like I kind of really went to film school because I just wanted to be able to shoot things I wanted to do and edit things I wanted. Now anyone can do that with a phone. Like it's incredible, and you can put it out there like in minutes. Like you can do it live. Like it's really incredible. I feel like so. I think it's cool.
It is a great time to create when it comes to creativity. But I think, like you said, when it comes to the business world, that's where the challenge is learning that, the side of it. But the creativity, you can create like never before. With that being said, especially for, let's say, the younger photographers or people just getting started, where do you find like support, and where do you feel in the industry? Because it seems like it's a very, freelance driven. A lot of people just kind of roam, find the business that they can. Where did you find support as a new photographer, or where do you feel that like new photographers could find support and connection?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have a little sense of community from film school. The people that I went to school with that are still in it, like, which are not a lot, but the ones that are like really in it. So I have a little community there. I also have like found people I like to work with, and I've, stuck with them like for years. I've been working with some of the same guys for like almost 15 years now, or 14 years, or whatever it is. And so like they're like my people, they're my friends, they're my crew. That's my community for sure. But I think you also can find it like really anywhere. I think it's great, again, like YouTube. Like if you find a creator that you really like, go check out their comment section, or go on a Facebook groups. That's where I also like to go. It's kind of like a forum, I guess, like Reddit too for some people. But I like to go on there and find people with similar interests, and then I'll talk to them about cameras or editing or color correction or whatever. I'll just kind of find my little network of people, and that's always a cool community too.
That's awesome. With that, because you went to film school and you have these other photographers, videographers, and community around that, is there anything that you hear, like photographers, videographers, people in the industry that are kind of secretly struggling with, that they don't really admit publicly, but is kind of a shared pain point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I touched on it a little bit already, but I think it's imposter syndrome. I think for a lot of people, I think sometimes we don't think we're worth it sometimes. Like, I don't know. I'll get into situations, I'm like, how did I get here? Do I belong here? But then, you do great, and then you're like, yeah, I do. It's just self-confidence, I think.
No, it's good.
That's
Imposter
what I
syndrome
can touch on
is such a big
personally.
thing.
But I
It's such a
think
big thing.
talking to some of my community of friends and people in the industry, it's been similar too.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised we made it this far without, saying that two-letter word that everybody's talking about, but I'm going to bring it out now, and that is, do you think AI will hurt creators or create new opportunities, especially in the world of photography and videography?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I personally, as a creative person, love it. Kind of like we were talking about, the ability to create, I think in general is really cool. I think it definitely has lots of implications in good and bad ways. I personally find it as a lane of its own when it comes to like straight generative AI. I don't think it's like completely going to replace things. I think it's also a cool tool. In my opinion, like I use tools all the time in editing, or film or anything, like when a cool tool comes out, I utilize it, I think I mean, I use it sometimes for transitional things or little small things, here and there. I think at the end of the day, you got to have taste and you still have to be creative and whatever it is. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I understand why people don't like it. I understand why it's scary. But just like anything, we evolve, things change, and if we like it or not, it's here. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it's one of the things I quoted when I ran a artificial intelligence conference in 23 before it really took off, and that's people love AI for the things that they hate, but they hate AI for the things that they love. So as a photographer, you'd love it to do your
Yeah.
taxes and get you more money back, but you don't want it, taking care of, generative shots and things like that. But I found that that's across the board for every industry. People love it in that way.
Yeah.
So these are some
Yeah.
just short, quick questions, and then we can get into, because I would love to go into some of the future, but wanted to go through just some of the things that would just be really interesting. Like, what's the craziest thing a client has ever asked you to do?
Oh, what's the craziest thing? Well, I have a lot
I
of
mean, if it's an
stories,
NDA,
but
you don't have to go into that.
no,
Just,
no,
you're
no,
working
anything like
you're working
that.
with Hollyweird, so it's going to be interesting.
No, yeah, there's so many weird stories. Well, we were shooting this spec reality show early on in my career, and uh, we were throwing lots of cash in the air everywhere. It was called MakeItRain.tv, and we were really big on World Star Hip Hop for a moment there, and YouTube and stuff, and did a whole bunch of it. But like we had this really funny time where we hired a Obama impersonator. He was the president at the time, and we had an Obama impersonator walking down Hollywood Boulevard with a fake Secret Service, and we went to Hollywood and Highland and threw like a whole bunch of suitcases full of money everywhere, and people were going nuts. That was definitely a pretty funny, weird one for sure. Yeah.
That's an interesting ask. I love the creative direction
So
behind it. Was it just for pure
yeah,
chaos? Is
yeah.
that what they wanted? Just pure chaos?
Yeah, yeah. The show was it was a lot of fun, but it was yeah. I mean, there's pretty much like a our inspiration was like a kind of pimp my ride punked, I guess, mix, but it was to like kind of see people's reactions and give money away back to the people and really to see the chaos, I think, and the surprise. It was silly, but it was fun.
That's awesome. Another quick one is, what's one of your biggest never again moments in the industry? You learned a lesson, you're like, you know what? Never again that. What was one of those that stick out in your mind?
Or again, it's generally working with certain people.
Okay.
If I have a bad experience, it's a never again. I just don't do it. Yeah, that's probably a lame answer, but that's pretty much all I got, I think, for
No,
that
it's
one.
good. I mean, if the client's it's not working out, don't torture yourself. There's no need. Being in business, what was one of the earliest mistakes that or worst business mistake that you made early on?
Yeah, it's just I guess similar never again question, but just certain people I've worked with. Being young, you want to hire all your buddies and friends, which I still do, but some people are good friends and some people are good workers. Sometimes there's a separation there. But that's probably it, really. Making sure you have the right people you're working with and it all gels together in a real nice way.
I like it. And then on the same vein, besides mistakes, what would be one red flag that you would tell photographers, videographers, and especially new folks in the industry that they should really be on the lookout for? And they should not ignore it.
I mean, for me, it's clients that don't sign contracts and don't give deposits. I don't really do that, especially like if they're not taking you serious as a business, you probably shouldn't take them serious as a business.
That's good. Very practical. Very practical advice. And then, if you were going to pass on one thing to younger photographers, what is one thing you would wish that your younger self knew earlier that you would pass on to the next generation of photographers?
Kind of a no-brainer now, but for me, I wish I would have like realized like clients really make your life simpler. If you can find clientele that like your work, that have more than just one job for you, like your life will be a lot easier, especially in a gig driven like economy. Like it's kind of nice if you find people that you like to work with that will hire you often and you can get in a good rhythm and flow. Like it's definitely pretty.
I love that. Yeah, relationship building, having those repeat customers. Is every time they call, you're excited when they pick up the phone, or you see their message come in.
Exactly.
It's always the best. So I wanted to jump into like the future a little bit because that's one of the big things that we're working on at Worldkam, and that is the world of photography. And it's been the same, I would say, for many, many years. These relationship building, clients, acquisition, network, all that is really traditional. If you could redesign the world of photography and that industry from scratch, what would be one of the first things you would change, or what would you change overall? What is one thing that you would want to change in it overall? The way that certain things are done, be it contracts, payments, getting found, negotiations.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've never been a fan of for from my clients or as a crew member, like I think, you know, net 30, net 60, net 90 suck. You know, I don't think there's any reason for that. I generally, when I hire my crew, as soon as they send the invoice, I pay them right away, you know. That's one thing I think should be a thing, in my opinion. There's no reason to really wait. I think we're in a digital world where we can send money pretty quickly, and there shouldn't be like, I understand accounting departments and you know going through lots of billing, but I think it's kind of ridiculous sometimes how long clients want to make you wait for your money.
Yeah,
So
absolute
that's what I would
frustration.
change.
Yeah, payments for sure. And on the
Yeah.
photographer side, what is one thing or a couple skills, if you have it right off the bat, that would help photographers actually succeed today? What do you think are some of the things that photographers need today to help them succeed?
I mean, I don't know. I guess just a lot of drive and passion, you know. I think you really gotta love it and want to do it because if you don't, I think there's other jobs that you could probably go and do that would make your life easier. If you don't like it, I don't think there's any point in doing it.
That's fair. And for you personally, what excites you most about the future of this industry or your own career?
I'm a very optimistic person. I love growth and I love to like aspire to the next level in my career, you know? So for me it's reaching, in my opinion, like the next bigger job, if that's the next bigger commercial, or maybe do a narrative down the road or something along those lines. That's what excites me, I guess. And then also it's just like kind of building and growing my company. It's been really cool to like every job kind of bring on a couple more people and like hope to like keep that bar like on the rise, I guess, you know. Doing bigger, better work is really what gets me excited.
It's awesome. And for you, when you don't have to hunt for more clients and you're in that flow, you have either repeat clients and things are really booked. What does that actually mean for you versus those longer stints where you don't have clients? What does that mean to you? How does that feel? Do you operate different creatively? Yeah, what's that like? The difference between when you're having to hunt for it or when it's already in flow?
Yeah, no, it's great. I think you can kind of be more in a rhythm creatively, in my opinion. Like you can keep your mindset more dialed in on like doing the job itself, I feel like better. Like, I know that's one aspect of the business, but if you are the creative and the business owner or running your business, it sometimes can be hard to like wear all those hats. And when you have repeat clients, I feel like you can kind of lock in, you can like really start to systematize things and really like get in a good rhythm and flow. And I think ultimately like your work gets better, you know, because you're not stressed about the next thing. You're not reinventing the wheel every time. You're just like you're really fine tuning what you've done with your clients in the past, you know.
I love it. So now I have just a series of really rapid fire. These might be one or two question answer or answer questions. If you're ready for them, you ready for these?
Let's do it.
Best camera you've ever used?
Best camera.
Personal favorite?
Personal favorite. I just bought a Free Flight Ember high-speed camera. I like it a lot.
You like it?
It's a specialty camera. Okay, that's more than two. Yeah.
That's no, it's fine. That's an answer though. What do you feel is a most overrated trend right now in photography? If you've been seeing something or clients asking for it, if you don't have it, you can also just say skip. But if you've seen something, what do you think is a trend that you just roll your eyes at?
Vertical video. I hate vertical video.
That was a problem.
We all have to do it.
That was a problem when it started, and we could never fix it.
I hate it. Why can't we just like, why can't Instagram or anyone just like have it playful? You know, we do videos for X or TikTok or Twitter, and when you click on it, it goes full screen and it's great. Like it doesn't, you know, you can turn your phone sideways. Anyways, yeah, I digress.
Yeah,
I hate vertical videos. I would like to frame my stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fair. I think a lot of people would agree with that one too. Vertical video is the worst. All right. Most underrated skill a photographer should learn.
Here we go. No, there you are.
Yeah. Most underrated skill a photographer should learn.
Most underrated skill. I don't know. Color correction, I guess.
Color? That's fair. All right. A phrase that instantly annoys photographers.
One more. I guess. I don't know.
Good old one more.
Yeah.
All right. Hardest type of shoot.
Hardest type of shoot. I don't know. I'm biased. I think weddings. I don't touch them. People do it, but
people love them.
They scare me. They scare me, man. I don't know, those crazy brides, man. I'm not a fan.
No, avoid it.
Yeah.
Okay, then the most rewarding type of shoot for you.
For me, I would say a music video for me. A really creative music video.
Music video. Nice. All right, dream client. They see this, they hear it, they book you. Who's the dream client?
Dang, the dream client.
Just one on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer for that. I would say dream client. I'll keep it pretty. Yeah. How about
come back if it triggers. If it.
Yeah. I don't have anything great.
I mean, it could just be like an action movie. You could just say, you know,
yeah.
Warner Brothers, Universal. You get that dream client, Universal.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
Unless someone should see a movie that you've worked on, like if that's.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like
call.
They don't really make action movies like they used to, though. Like they're okay, they're fine, but movies are different. Like I don't know if I like movies as much as I used to. Like I do like movies, but I'm like they're not the same. It doesn't feel the same, you know. I would love to work for like, it's pretty typical, I'm sure, for a lot of people, but I would love to do a really sick Nike commercial. I think that would be a top for me.
Top Nike, and if not, bring back classic action movies. Well, that's a dream client right there. Someone's like, I want a classic action movie. Call Marcus.
There you go. That's it.
All right. What's one thing photographers should charge more for? You think they're undercharging for?
I think pre-production sometimes. If you have a lot of discussions with clients, you know, I try and charge a fee for like all my back and forth communications. It could be pre-production. It's just really client management, I think, should be a line item in everyone's thing, because like you will go on these projects and you'll spend so much time communicating back and forth, and I feel like it's time you don't get back, and you should be paid for.
It should be billable hours. It's work.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
work.
Yeah,
You're having to put together the whole shoot. It's production. You're
yeah,
in it.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
true.
Respect that. All right, next one. One thing you feel photographers waste too much money on. It doesn't have the greatest impact besides
Um,
Red Bull.
I think that's a tough one. I mean, sometimes cameras, sometimes people upgrade cameras when they don't need to. I'm someone that has done that, and I buy a lot of cameras, but sometimes people buy gear that is just to fulfill their gear nerd needs rather than their actual like needs as like their craft and what they're doing.
A fancy tripod for your tripod.
Yeah.
It looks why because it's cool.
Yeah.
It's nerd tech.
Yeah,
I'm saying
exactly.
there. Biggest green flag in a client.
Green flag. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I haven't ever heard of a green flag. I like those. Yeah, we'll pay you up front. That's always cool.
Oh, we already paid you. It's already done.
Yeah.
That's always a
Yeah.
great one. Biggest red flag?
I think we touched on it, just not signing contracts or paying deposits.
Yep. And what makes for you? What makes a photo or video unforgettable? What would you say is a characteristic that makes it unforgettable?
I think it's having the like your style touch on it, whatever your specific style is. I think it's like whatever makes your photo or video a bit unique. Like if it's your editing style or if it's, you do something every time that's kind of your signature thing. I think that's pretty cool.
We're in the rapid fire questions, and the last two here is what's more important, technical perfection or emotion if you're capturing a moment?
Yeah, it's always emotion, I think. I mean, story wins. So if if you don't capture the emotion, I don't think you did your job.
It's great. Yeah. Authenticity. That's what we're all about, capturing that real, raw moment. And lastly, one piece of advice to photographers trying to survive today. What would that be?
Don't be scared to put yourself out there, even if you don't think your work's the best. It's better than no work, and you're always your hardest judge. So just put it out and make the next thing. And the more times you do it, you're just going to continue to get better.
Awesome. Marcus, thanks so much for joining us today. There's so many gems in here, and it's really helpful to be able to talk to a photographer with your type of experience. And I definitely want to chat some more, talk more about the industry, because at Worldkam, we're trying to create 100,000 jobs for people in the world of photography, videography, and a global community where people can share and uplift each other, and clients can just go and book and pay right away, nice and easy, and get get the gig and get the quality people that they're looking for. So really love you taking the time and really appreciate it. And I'm sure the people who are listening to this will got a lot out of the conversation. The last thing I had is there any last things you wanted to share with the people who are watching or are going to tune in, be it potential clients or anything that you just want to share before we go?
Yeah, I mean, just a quick shout out to the studio I'm at, Load Bearing Studios. They're down here in Orange County in Santa Ana. They were nice enough to let me shoot at their space. They have podcasts and studio rentals. And yeah, I guess on my end, just always happy to, give any advice, or if you need a production team or any post work, I'm happy to help. So just give me a call.
Awesome. Thanks so much, brother. And I will talk with you soon.
Cool. Thanks. Take care.